clean today. And anybody new here for the first time? Welcome. I'm glad to be clean again. I can't stop saying that because that's the most important thing in my life right now is don't use dope. That's right. Newcomer, you are the most important person at this meeting or any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. And I was a newcomer, but if I use dope and make it back, I'll be a newcomer all over again. And to me, it seemed like that's more work than going back. It's better for me to stay here than to go back and use. And then I'm 58 years old, so I don't think telling me when to turn the lights off is working right now. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just, come on now. I'm just too old for that one, man. You have to turn the TV off, Robert. It's time to go to bed. That's it. You should have called me about 20 years ago. So I'm going to stay clean to the best of my ability. I don't want to use no dope. I don't have a desire to use no dope. We're talking about the topic, I think, is complacency, correct? And, you know, they got a song out called Happy now. Y'all heard them, sure, right? Yeah. If you ain't happy, I don't know what you're waiting on.
Come on.
You know, for real.
That's right.
You know, I was just sitting back there and I looked at this band on here and it made me feel like I'm in a hospital. And when I think about coming up here, this really, you know, this is a getaway. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have to come to the hospital and get what I need so I can go back out and work and live in society. And I've been coming up here long enough to have met people. And that's what's going to happen for you if you decide to keep coming back. Yeah. You know, it's going to grow on you like the topic is. We grow with love. So that's going to grow on you. And everybody going to get their own experiences. The topic again is complacency. And I wanted to read something. I hope y'all don't mind. If y'all don't mind joining in with me, you can, all right? We're going to read just for the day, all right? It says, just for the day, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for the day, I'll have faith in someone, NNA, who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for the day, I'll have a program. I'll try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for the day, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. Thank you all. It seems like it's really power in that for me because I don't have to think alone anymore. I don't have to do nothing by myself anymore. And that's probably what caused me to use drugs like I did and as extreme as I did. See, I'm going to take some people back because I came in the era where we was shooting dope, smoking reefer. Let me start out with the cool drugs. Wine and weed. Okay. And then y'all offered me a pill, and I don't know what I was supposed to do with that, but I started liking pills, and then what I found out was I started going in somebody else's cabinets getting pills. I wasn't buying them off the street, and then I was taking my parents' pills, all that crazy stuff. So I came up in that era. And then I think I started I don't know how come today when I think about how much I love shooting dope, I can't, it trips me out to just know that I love shooting heroin like I did. And but the only thing about that, ladies and gentlemen, is that I loved heroin, but heroin didn't love me. Yeah. And that's the way it treated many of us. So through the grace of a loving God, we end up here. And for that, I'm grateful. You may hear rattling in my throat right now because I have a relationship with the God of my understanding that's really seemed like he got my undivided attention. So I'm paying attention to what I say because I want to say what I mean and mean what I say. By the way, my story done changed. For 21 years, my story was I worked for Renaissance Unity. I had employment, worked 40 hours a day. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Sometime in life, your circumstances gonna change. And mine did. I lost my job after 21 years. So right now, I'm between jobs, and it really feels uncomfortable. It's a place I ain't never been. But I want to read something in the book. It says, vigilance is what Robert W. have to do now. I really have to be vigilant. And that means, it says, how do we remain vigilant about our recovery? First, we realize that we have a disease. And that's what I got to remember, because right now my disease is trying to make me stay real complacent. It wakes up in the morning with me, it stands by my bedside. It did that when I had a job. But you know what I'm saying? It's really tripping with me now, man. It does. It really is everything. And I was sitting back there a while ago thinking that my mate, she couldn't make it up here. Her name is Connie. And what I have to do is know that this disease don't have no respect for you losing your job. It don't care about me losing my job. That's right. It's still putting pressure on me. And what it really wants me to do is to give up on the things that's been good to me. That's like my home group, you all, right? I find myself, my coworkers still call from time to time to see how I'm doing. And I have a slight resentment, man, with my job. And somebody told me, Robert, own it, man. Just feel it. It ain't gonna stay there, but feel what you feel. And the worstest thing I think Robert can do right now is to deny it and act like I'm not feeling like I got to pull the rug pull out from under me. You know, I didn't lose my job because I got fired and nothing like that, and God knows I'm so grateful for that. At least I can sleep at night, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like I've been a good student for 21 years on my job. And of course, I ain't been no perfect student, but I've been a good student. You understand? They loved me on my job. They cared about me on my job. And it feels good to be coming from where we came from to after being on the job for a number of years and then leave with that kind of remarks about you, you know? And it's only through this program that it's like that, because you people taught me how to go to work. I didn't know how to go to work. My work was the corners, the streets, the stores, or whatever I can get my drugs from. That was my job until I found Narcotics Anonymous. So if you're a new member, give yourself a break. You don't have to understand this program for it to even work. They say relationships can be a terrible, painful area. Only reason why, it's not to say not to get into one, but it says that because it says we fantasize and we project what's going to happen. Yeah. And the problem with us is our perceptions, baby. Our perceptions is so distorted, man. You know, sometimes I can't see no further than what I want to see. And that's it. You know, I ain't finna sit up here and try to sugarcoat nothing. I'm just telling you like it really is, because that's the way the God of my understanding has me to share today. He want me to tell it like it really is, man. I'm in a relationship, and guess what? My girl do anything she can for me right now to make me satisfied in the situation, in my circumstances. And even with that in mind, you know how you ride a horse and you got these rings in your hand? I'm constantly pulling back on the horse, man. Just constantly pulling back, because I realize now, since without a job, it's a pamphlet called Take Another Look. Yeah, that's a good one. And in that pamphlet, it says, the problem with us is the reason why we want control, because we always feel a lack of control. And so we need to control something to make us feel whole. And in this, in my circumstances today, I'm finding out that I have to keep pulling back the reins because she's just being there and supporting me through these times, and I can see myself finding things wrong, pointing stuff out. We got we have a reputation for running people away. Oh, y'all don't understand what I'm talking about. Come on. I'm talking about when we were using. Yeah. Today we're not trying to run people away, but when I was using, you stayed with me, I used you up.
That's right.
I mean, I could remember getting up one morning and looking for her, she wasn't there. Yeah. Well, she was like, she tired. I got to go. I must go while he sleep. You know what I'm saying? And today, man, I don't want to run my girl away today, man.
That's right.
I ain't trying to run. I got a good lady in my life, man, and sometimes we have to stop and take a real pinch ourselves and realize how good we really got it now. Because the goodness comes from, first of all, we don't have a desire to destroy one another.
That's right.
And complacency, man, it's real simple. It's like, it don't have to be the loss of a job. It could be the death of a loved one. Whatever it is to set us back, when we fall back, we need to bounce back and get back up and keep moving, And most of the time, if you've been around somebody for a while, they know when you responding the same way. They can see that in me. And right now, I'm doing what I can to make me feel up instead of being down. I like laughter a lot. I like to talk shit a lot, and
That's right.
I do. I like that. If I ain't doing that, they know something wrong with Robert.
That's right. Me too.
What's wrong with his ass? He ain't. My home group member Loretta, she ain't here now, bless her heart, man. The last few days or something, man. She teaches me how to have unconditional love, man. She's been a home group member off and on at our home group for 20 years, I guess, Robert, right? And she wants to control everything because she's the secretary, man. And sometimes she rubbed me the wrong way, man, but it ain't enough for us to ever lose our relationship that we have in our fellowship. Sometimes it's difficult to have relationships in your home group, but it's good to grow in your home group. And you're going to have internal and external controversies. We know that. That's what it just got through reading, right? When I was up here a couple of years ago, she was real sick, and she still wanted to come up here, and we used to have to pretty much carry her to the mess hall so she could eat, man. And I feel the same way that last night. She had the big fan on, and I was telling her, what are you doing with that big fan on? She said, well, I sleep with a fan on at home, and this fan was this huge, right? I'm saying, Loretta, we were taking you to the hospital if you put that thing on you tonight. So she came to on that, and she said, no, I don't need nothing this big on me. But I love my home group. Right now, the best thing for me to do is to keep coming to my home group, keep going to my home group. I've been going to my same home group. This home group you see these shirts with, we've been doing this for 23 years at my home group. I think I'm the oldest member at my home group, and I'm proud of that. I don't care about what y'all proud of. I'm proud of it.
That's right. Come on, Rob.
If you ain't got no home group, they say you're homeless. And not only that, I think it's important to say today that if here's the thing. If you don't take the suggestions that they give you, that's fine. We don't care. Because we know we're not going to take them all. But we believe that it's important that you do take some of the suggestions, right? Like get a home group. And I believe this. What I'm grateful for today is that with the complacency that I feel by not having my job anymore, it's important that I had established some love in this fellowship, man. You know, people see me now. When I come to a meeting, because I've been coming regularly, they see you and they say they appreciate you just showing up. I don't care about y'all. You can't buy that at the mall. You can't buy that at the mall. And so while you keep coming, sometimes you get into situations in the fellowship and you get mad at yourself because you made a decision. Well, the third step say make one. It don't say stay stuck. I believe this, that when I make a decision to buy something, go somewhere, treat somebody, how about this? Even invite somebody into my life as a new friend. You know, the outcome don't have to always be the way I think it's going to be. But since I've been in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous in the last 5 years, the people that I looked at and said, oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with that person. I'm asking God to give me the courage now to go to them and invite them into my life. That don't mean we got to go here and go there, but I want them in my life too, because there's something in me that's causing me the fear of me just going up to them and talking to them. See, we got a thing in Detroit. If you wear your hat like this, you different. If you wear your hat like this, you real different, right? I'm just sharing. That's what we have to contend with on a regular basis in Detroit. And a lot of times we ostracize people, and we do that all over, right? So it's no matter how you look to me. I look past that today.
That's right.
You have to look past how I wear my hat, how much my shoes cost.
That's right.
Because guess what I done discovered? And why are we here? Say we here for the same reason.
Yeah.
Because if you pick up some of that stuff, them gators you wearing, somebody else gonna be wearing them. That's how it works.
That's right.
So you have to learn that. You know, I had to learn that. Sometimes when I was very frightened when I came in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Of course, you understand, if you was a tall guy, I was intimidated. You understand? If you was a real muscular guy, I was intimidated, right? But I learned to ask God how to show me how to not be intimidated by the people that I got to be in the rooms with. And we got a brother that's passed away now. His name was Robert too. He was real tall, and when he came in our first night, he came in our home group. Well, you see that gentleman standing back there in the wall? That's my sponsor right there with that red shirt on. And he got that area covered. When you come to recovery on the Quinta, you will see him first. That's just the way it is. So he earned his seat, and he gonna give you a big juicy hug when you come down there. And that's what we've been doing in our home group. So this guy came down there, strolling down, and he had his hat on backwards. So when he got down there, we looked up to him, like I said, like that. And he did like this. Kept stepping, right? But he ended up becoming a home group member. And we kept loving him till he learned to love himself. And eventually his hat started to do like this. And before he died, he was wearing it like that. You know what I'm talking about? That's the good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And he loved his home group. He loved his home group. Now his wife, she comes over there because for a while she couldn't come. She didn't feel that. Emotionally she couldn't be there. But now she's able to come over there now and fellowship with us. She like our home group. So that's what's really going on. I'm looking forward to having a continuous good time with you guys. I want to always like to share this. If you ain't hug nobody, just stop and give somebody a hug. You know, it's so easy for me to walk past you and act like your ass don't even exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as I walk past you, I say, I could have gave that person a hug.
That's right.
Right? You know, due to the nature of this disease, we don't even know if we're going to see each other next year. I'm talking about how cunning and baffling this disease can be.
That's right.
You know, we up here, like I was sitting at the fire last night around 11:30, 12 o'clock. But, you know, the job, one of the things addicts like is money. Right? So we're going to make some money. I already know when your ass come here, you're going to make some money. You know what I'm talking about? For real. But okay, after that, then what?
Come on.
I done been, man, look. I'm saying this, I'm putting this out there as a disclaimer. To the new member, when I came in the program, I was shot up so bad that I could barely walk. Right? I didn't dream of going in places that I've been. Yeah. Okay? I'm talking about in the 23 years that I've been here, man. First of all, when I came up to Camp Mac, drove up here by myself. The gentleman that spoke to me real whisperedly at the MSO office said, Robert, you like to go to conventions. Why don't you ease up to this place? And I came up here to just, like Inspector Gadget, just to check it out. I said, you know what? Because I came in the program and I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and newcomer, please become open-minded when you come here. Yeah. That's the worst thing I could do to myself. If I had not came in here and became open-minded and listened to the opposite point of view, I'd have brought havoc to myself. You had to learn how to come in here. I tell my sponsees all the time, if you're going to have sponsees, one of the things I remind them to try to remember to tell them how the program is. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Those are the three gorgeous principles that you can carry around as a gold card. They will get you real far in your recovery. If I can be honest to myself, learn how to be honest to you, right? Mm-hmm. Become open-minded, I become willing to listen, even when because most of us want to know the truth. But we don't want you to know we want to know the truth. We want you to think we already know the truth. But if your ass knew something, you wouldn't be here. That's just how it is, right? You know, so I came up here and, y'all showed me unconditional love, man. And I hurried up and rode back to Detroit and told my sponsor. And shit, my sponsor said, you know what, I'm going to C2. And he came up here, and after that, we started coming up here, carloads of us coming up here. And we still trying to get up here when we can. But I'm real blessed, and a lot of times my circumstances right now is about a job. It's about paying the bills. That's the only part that's missing in my life right now. It's my concern about how the bill's gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's all it is. All I go to work for, man. I ain't never liked work. Wow. I don't give a damn. Y'all can talk that sweet shit if you want to. Robert W. ain't never liked work. I'm a lazy individual. And I'll do my work. I'll go. And I'm good at going. I learn how to go. Right? And if your ass ain't watching, I ain't doing shit. But when you watching, I'll work my ass off. That's just who I been. I'm getting honest. I work. And I'm going to get a job. My point is this. Y'all built me up enough character about myself to know that when you leave, I know my responsibilities. And I'll do my responsibilities. I ain't never had a problem on my job. That's why they love me, because they know I can be responsible. I still got keys to my job, and I've been off my job a month. I tried to give them their keys 2 weeks ago. And she said, well, no, Robert, just hold on to them. In other words, you trying to tell me I'm going to still have a job? I got to move on. You follow me? I love y'all and everything, but I can't live in my past and try to stay in my present. They talking about, well, maybe in December, if they get some more funds, all that, I got to go. You know how we are. We can't. Hold up, baby. I'm sitting on, I love praying and all that. I'm a church going, you know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for all that. But look, I got to move on. So right now, I'm like on a little vacation. I got a little money in the cut. You understand? A little pay the bills for another month or two. And then it's like, I'm coming out like a cannon. Huh? Yeah, I might even knock on your door. Yeah, can I do roofing? Hell yeah, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I don't know what God got to store. I ain't throw y'all out, because when it get tight, we coming out the corner. Bottom line. So we have another speaker, man. I'm just grateful, man. If y'all see my head drop down, just lift me up and say, Rob, it's going to be all right. That's right. I need all the prayer I can get right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm accepting and I'm receptible and I'm receiving that love right now. It feels good right now, today, to sit here and say that I'm on the receiving end of life. And it feels good to walk up to you and tell you, man, I don't know if you know, man, I don't have my job no more. What? Oh, man. They go like that, right? And then they stay there for a minute, and then they go down in their spirit. And I get a chance to see them exercise the spirituality in their life by saying, man, Robert, man, this no. And I had one guy the other day at the meeting, he just started walking. He started pacing, he started saying good things to me. And I was sitting up there serving, just on, boy. For real? For me? But that's the love I'm getting right now. That's the love I'm receiving. And that's because I made a decision in 1991 to stay here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a product of I don't never announce my treatment center because I believe this. All treatment centers is good. Yeah. And see, we got a tendency in closing, take this with you. Addicts will sit back and say, oh, you went to that treatment center. Well, I went to this treatment center. Well, shit, I'm going back and use, so when I come back, I'm going to that treatment center. It's sick, man, but I'm talking about what this thing will tell them. I mean, well, what's that about some people saying, this ain't no judgment, because I done learned that I do judge. I judge, and no reason why I say I'm admitting that I judge is because I'm powerless over my judgment. I judge, but I ask God for mercy. I judge, but I ask God for mercy on my life for judging, because I will judge. And I have to judge. Judgment leads me into a place of open-mindedness. When I realize I judged, then I become open-minded and say, God, why am I judging? Why? So, most of our defects is followed by a principle. You know what I'm saying? When we find out we in defect, we go to a spiritual principle and replace it with. I thought that's what they taught me anyway. So I'm real grateful y'all here, man. I'm just extending my love to the newcomer today to know that if I can stay clean, you can stay clean. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. All right, we have a second speaker now, and his name is Rob P.
All right.
Great, tough act to follow there. Thanks a lot. I'll write about that resentment later. Hey, I'm Rob. I'm an addict. Grateful to be here, and me and Robert really don't know each other too personally, but I've been listening to him for years, and I've gotten a lot out of what you share every time, and thanks for being here, always. And I know everything's going to be all right. We just know.
That's right.
Because that's what we do. Never fails, man. I'm nervous. I speak a lot, and I can shake with the best of them and stutter and all that other stuff. I'll try not to cuss, but if I let a few slip out, maybe you can write about those later. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I scan down the list every year the last few years because I'm supposed to be of service to this fellowship because that keeps me clean. And the complacency one stood out because it almost took me out not long ago, and it doesn't matter with a few black key tags. I can be as sick as the day is long. I got no desire to use dope today, but I will use a lot of things. And I also feel that things complete me, right? I'm going to get all these things and this stuff, and I'm going to be okay. Come to find out that's not the case, And I can disguise that word complacency and call it I'm just being responsible, I can't go to those meetings. I'm working, 6-10s, 3 to 11s, and too tired to go to those day meetings and they're really not that good meetings anyway, because I'm up here or something, right? I'm in a different class, so it immediately goes to separation and isolation for me. And I'm comfortable there. I can get really comfortable alone in my head, even in a room full of people. I'll isolate from you guys. So it's important for me to talk about it. Thank God for my sponsees who have saved my life on numerous occasions. Thank God for a sponsor and a loving God in my life, because it's not me. I just went on a long winter journey at work. I was working for a freight company, dealing directly with the railroad, and when it's 30 below zero wind chill, and you're out in the rail yard, and I've convinced myself at that time that this is all I'm good for, and this is all I'm going to do the rest of my life. And as long as I'm paying my daughter's tuition and I'm taking care of her, and I'm not getting in any trouble by the law, maybe I'll hit a meeting every couple of weeks, maybe just maybe, I'll be all right. And come to find out that's not the case. Because that complacency, and I just got done with several assignments over the last month, because I've since then, I'm going to give you the hope shot, I've since then come out of that. I got a new job, and something I never thought I'd do. I love giving back. I truly believe God's will for me is to be of love and service to others, and now I'm getting paid for it, so that's kind of cool in itself. And I didn't really ask for that. I just asked God for help, and what happens is He answered, and I gave Him the time to answer, because a lot of times it's like, God help me, but wait a minute, I gotta go. Because that's how I pray sometimes, and I don't listen. And I thank God for people that come before me and that can listen to me and identify my defects and stop me and say, hey, when's the last time you gave God, the opportunity to answer you? And then it makes me think, and then I don't really want to think, and now I want to talk bad about that guy because he just called me out on something. And, so it's a vicious cycle in my head, because that's really where my disease is. And make no mistake about it, when I say my disease is me. I don't think my disease is like this separate entity, right? And I'm going to blame my disease. I'm going to go steal this car, right? But it was my disease doing it, so I can't go to jail. Because that's what I used to think for a long time early in recovery. It was like, well, my disease, that was my disease, and I got away with it, because then I go into whole justification and rationalization mode. And convince myself, because that's what I do. I'm either my worst enemy or like my best supporter, especially when it comes to being on some shit. And it's blown me away the last few months that I could go from, and really only my sponsor and a few close people in my network know that I was close to using. And again, I got some time here. And I got some beautiful people in my life. And by the way, thanks for being here, because I like being in the crowd of the beautiful people, And I'll have to do some writing for the people who aren't in this room right now that I know are out there right now a little later, and I'll forgive them eventually, right? I won't allow them by the coffee. If you want some coffee, you can go over. But yeah, that's just what I do, and that's all a direct result of complacency being a major role there. It's a direct result of me being unaware of that. These assignments I was doing, I was really focusing on complacency, because that's where I was. I'm not there today. And it's like satisfied with the self-satisfaction of being where I'm at, unaware of those critical dangers that are approaching. And I'm blinded by it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm this close to using, but I don't realize that, because I'm taking care of my daughter. I'm showing up for work every day. All these things that I'm doing that I call responsible, and I got some money in the bank today, and I got these things again, that make me okay, but I'm not going to meetings. I'm maybe calling my sponsor, maybe once, however long. I can't even place a time frame on it early in the year, because I was okay, right? I'm okay. And realistically, I was in like inner turmoil. Very close to picking up, and it was, it definitely wasn't by my power or by my choice, but God showed up. God shows up in the form of sponsees. God shows up in the form of, I had several people in my crew that I was in charge of. They show up in that form, and awakening my inner anger at times, and then I got to check myself. You know, it can come in many forms, and I just felt something, and I saw something in myself that I didn't like. And it had been a long time since I felt that, you know, and it was like, what are you doing? You know, one of my favorite lines that I say all the time, the more I work on me, the better you get, right? You know, and sometimes it pisses people off, and I really don't care, but because it really has nothing to do with you. Nothing, zero. I think, you know, I love the Just for Today. I think it's like April 28th or something, 27th, about who really gets better. Yeah. You know, because I'm that guy, and I'm that guy with yours clean that will go, fuck, here she goes again, telling that story. You know, I'll sit in the meetings and find these things about you that block a message of hope.
Come on.
You know, there we go again. Same story. Heard this one. When's this meeting? Is this an hour meeting, hour and a half? I gotta go. You know, and I'm out the doors. You know, and I'm certainly not hearing a message. And if I share, I'm sharing out of defects rather than love. I'm not coming from a place of love. Now I'm yours clean, supposed to be giving a message of hope, right? Supposed to be being a predecessor, and I'm cross-talking. You know, and you know where I come from, that's something you're not supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to share my experience, strength, and hope, not find differences and mock people and judge, because that's where I found myself as well. You know, and I don't know, it was, I can't label a moment when it happened, but, you know, it led me to picking up the phone and calling my sponsor and letting them know where I was, and letting them know that, you know, using sounded like a pretty good idea. And I don't know, again, to me, I know it's a loving, caring God in my life, and you call it whatever you want, but it's happened to me numerous times along the path of recovery, my whole journey, that, you know, I've had these God moments, I call them, where, you know, I was ready to do one thing, and it probably wasn't going to be too cool, and then I didn't do it, you know. And there are times where I'll take credit for that, you know, and I know that's times of me letting ego in or arrogance in, and probably something bad's going to happen shortly thereafter. But, you know, those true moments of those true God moments where I can feel, you know, God answering my call, you know, and I pick up the phone and I tell people what's up, and they keep me from staying in that complacency mode. They make me aware of those critical dangers that are fastly approaching. I didn't realize how close I was until it was spelled out to me. And, you know, then I got to humble myself, and then I got to, you know, let people know. Because I expect you guys to be mind readers, right? You know, you got to read my mind, because I already got an expectation on you anyway, an unrealistic one. So if you don't figure it out and read my mind and tell me what's up and then do for me what I can't do for myself that I didn't ask you to do in the first place, well, now I'm pissed, right? And now I'm off to the races. Fuck this program. NA sucks. I'm never going to another meeting. You know? The same people that loved me till I learned to love myself, the same people that told me to keep coming back. Even when it was like a sarcastic keep coming back, like keep coming back. You know, and I was like, I didn't know at the time, right? I was like, yeah, I will. Yeah, this is great. And then I found out later that it was sarcastic, and, you know, then I was pissed. And I had to write on that one too. You know, big writing family, our sponsorship family. We write on a lot of things. So I don't know, man. It's been a long winter, to say the least, and a lot's going on. But, you know, the more I can rely on my God, and the more I can rely on everything He puts in my path, and allow it in and step out of the way, you know, just the easier it is. It's just that simple. You know, I'm resistant of that a lot. It's getting better, that's for sure. You know, I don't just like back up 10 feet and hit my head on that wall that I'm running into and think it's going to move anymore. You know, I get an outside healthy perspective, and that's what I did and saved my life. Even again with some time here, you know, because I get in that mode of being immune. You know, or you guys, I got to have a different program than you, because the simple shit you told me at the beginning, that's not going to work now. It just doesn't work anymore. You know, and that's me in my head. That's me. I don't know about anybody else. I got a thinking disease, man. You know, and I think I can fix it. Again, key word, think. I can fix my thinking disease with my old broken thinker, right? It's insanity. It's literally insanity. and I don't go with the old definition of, repeating the same thing, expecting a different result. I know damn well what the result's going to be. Damn well. And I do it anyway. Because my way is the best way, and you're stupid. And again, that's me allowing ego in, arrogance in, and that pride, and it's sick thinking. So, again, thanking God for that power to, give me the ability to ask for help and to get honest and let people know where I'm at. Coming from a place of, all boys in my household growing up, man up, figure it out, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Help? What do you mean help? You don't ask for help, you figure it out, man. And if you screw it up, you won't screw it up again because you learn the hard way, and thank God for a place like this that, I can say, man, I'm hurting. Here's how I'm feeling. I'm uncomfortable. Or better yet, like I do every year when I drive in this place, I stop at the frickin' entrance and cry my eyes out, like I'm about to do right now, because this place is so powerful to me. It's just got that thing, right, Robert? Camp Mac. Yeah. It's just got it, and it's something that's allowed me to be myself. I see people here once a year. I might speak to them a few times throughout the year, if that, but I know for certain that I can come in here and be who I am and be me. And then that helps me and reminds me that I can continue to do that. Because I leave and I go back and I get in the outside world, because now I'm this responsible, productive member of society, right? And I think that I got to put on this different mask. When really, I've gotten where I'm at today by just being me and by allowing you guys in. So it's a trip. It's come like full circle that, I've worn steel toe boots and hard hats for many years, right? And now I'm in an office with a desk and helping people with in the addiction field, and it just blows my mind that God saw that in me, and it was a calling that I love doing anyway. I'm very passionate about helping others, and I take this very seriously because when I came in here and I waited in that church parking lot for like 7 hours because I didn't want to use, that was a big deal, man. I don't want to die. I don't want to get high. And that's what I was going to do. And that was God stepping in too many moons ago. And boy, oh boy, did my disease and me have a few brawls in that parking lot over that 7-hour span. But I stayed there, and I got the hope shot I needed at that meeting. And I kept coming back. Have I been perfect in that? No. Whether it be the complacency, whether it be the, doing everything wrong, whether it be not believing in you guys. I'll go to the corner and believe that's not drywall, right? Or it's not tied, but I'm not going to believe you guys, right? To get plugged in and get a network and get a sponsor and work some steps, and I certainly didn't want to believe that. When you guys said, by the way, there's more to just fellowshipping, because I just wanted to come in here and fellowship my ass off, right? I'm going to go to meetings and I'm going to see the girls and I'm going to go to coffee and do what I do. And then they're talking about these steps, and really? And then when I got the message that the solution was truly in the steps, and I believed that and I did that, that's when I got relief. And that's when I continued to get relief. So I plugged back in. That complacency, just like any other emotion I've ever been through, was temporary. I didn't pick up over it, and that was a beautiful thing. Looking back in hindsight at how close I was and how critical that danger could have been. Those things I call just being responsible, right, would have vanished. Because it'll all fit in the end of a pipe, every last bit of it. And I've come too far, and I'm just so grateful that, for my God and the people He puts in my life every day. Especially, I got to repeat this, especially my sponsees, because there's days I just don't want to do anything recovery related at all. And I'll even be in the mode of, I'm going to beat that dude's, and then I'm in that mode, and then my phone rings, right? and it's a sponsee that I know needs to talk about something. And, you know, sometimes it feels like an obligation, but most of the time it's like, pick up the phone, dude. Pick up the phone. And when I do, they help me way more than I feel I help them at any given moment, you know. So that keeps me from falling deeper into that hole that ultimately I created. And I got to realize that. I got to take responsibility. I can't control my thoughts, right? And my first step, excuse my French, tells me I'm fucked, you know, because that's just what it does. But I got hope, you know, I got things to believe in. I got things to go to. I got a God in my life. I got, you know, the ability to turn that stuff over. So I don't have to believe that simple word that, you know, is pressed into me in that first step, because if I'm powerless, then what do I need? I need that power, you know, and you guys give me that power. My God gives me that power, but it's going to take me to do some work, you know, to get out of the cave, right? Because that's, you know, the power I need it coming down, and you know, I got a sponsor that spells it out very clearly for me. That you got a choice in this. You can hang out over there and isolate, you know, separate yourself, and you know, let me know how that works out for you. You know, but I'm here and I love you, and that's what keeps me coming back, man. That's what keeps me from picking up, from dying. You know, so again, when I saw that Complacency title, I was like, oh. You know, but I know I got to give it back. I got to give some hope that, you know, even in those darkest moments where I feel like you guys aren't doing it for me anymore, or I don't want to hear your story anymore, or better yet, I've graduated from this thing. You know, it brings me back down to a level playing field, and I can get out of the judgmental phase and the thinking I got this. So. Didn't know what to say when I came up here. I asked God to help me out, and if somebody got anything out of it, that's cool, man. But I did, so thank you. That's all I got.
Thanks, Rob. All right, in closing this meeting, we're going to close with a group hug and a prayer. You'd like to make a circle?
What controls it? Don't forget.